Trim Healthy for me actually began before Trim Healthy was released. It was when I had my first baby, who's now 24 years old. I had really no sense of health and nutrition. It just wasn't a priority, or nor did I was very educated in the area. I was thankful growing up we ate healthy, but it wasn't because my mom was teaching us to eat healthy. It was because that's the way she was raised. They lived in the country, they lived on a farm, so they grew their own food. They had their own meat animals. So my grandma cooked from scratch. My mom continued. So our meals were homemade from scratch. But like I said, it wasn't for nutritional reasons necessarily. It was just because it's how we ate. So I was grateful for that. However, when I got married, I didn't have my own garden and we weren't growing our own meat yet. Went to the grocery store, and Velveeta cheese and different processed foods just made as much sense to me as anything else would, fresh vegetables or fruit. So once I got pregnant with our first baby, I gained a huge amount of weight. I felt horrible, didn't know why my ankles were swollen, why I was so sick. And so after I had her, I used the excuse for a long time, well, I just had a baby. I have all this extra weight. I'm just not back into shape because I just had a baby. And it dawned on me when it started to come out of my mouth once again, and I realized that baby's 2.5 years old. I was like, whoa. And so at that point I started, like, I need to do something. I need to get this extra weight off, was my thought at that time. I still wasn't paying attention to how bad I was feeling. So I started listening to a few different people, reading some books, doing some of my own research, and came across, watch your carbs, take out the carbs. So I started that journey, taking out the carbs. It took the weight off. I lost the weight. I felt great for a while. Started exercising, got into, for a while, the best shape of my life. Was running, working out, lifting weights, eating healthier, but took out all the carbs. And then I started crashing. My metabolism started hitting the bottom, and I was so tired and I couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. And then I got pregnant with baby number 2. Stayed in great shape as far as working out and maintaining, not a lot of weight gain. However, after I had him, I just had no energy. I was so tired. So it was a short while after that, I heard about Trim Healthy Mama. But the book wasn't released yet. So I was like, that's interesting. So in the meantime, I started reading more about really healthy eating, like your whole grains, grinding your own wheat and cooking your own bread. And I was like, oh, but the weights, I was the raw milk, so I was kind of like, oh, it's just like, I felt like in between, like, but if I eat that, I'm gonna gain the weight. But I was learning about what real nutrition was at the same time, and I just didn't know how to piece it together. So I was trying to feed my family healthier, but trying to eat healthy, but still maintain this low carb, and it didn't make sense to me. And then the book came out. I was at this ladies conference with Serene and Pearl's mother, Nancy Campbell, and she had their book there, and of course talking all about it. The ladies there were talking about it. It was all the rave. So I grabbed the book and I just devoured it and read it cover to cover. And I was like, oh, this is it. All the pieces I was trying to put together all of a sudden made sense. So started right away, learning little bits by little bits, but almost immediately could tell the difference. Was able to keep the weight off, but also able to regain my health and being able to get my metabolism back to where it needed to be and getting the energy I needed to keep up with these little ones. And that's where my journey with Trim Healthy Mama began, and where I knew that this was a way of eating, a way of life. I was able to enjoy all the amazing foods God made for us, and do it in a healthy, balanced way, and be able to control my blood sugars. And it just felt like such food freedom. I wasn't like being held hostage anymore with can't eat this or don't eat that, or but I just felt like the whole world just opened up to me, because all this knowledge I had been gaining but didn't know what to do with it, and didn't make a whole lot of sense. to me just all of a sudden made sense. So by then, we're adding to our family, and my daughter's getting older. We had an older daughter that was adopted. And so they were kind of a little bit like, what's mom doing? You know, what is she gonna feed us tonight? But my girls actually got very excited about it. And they were actually at the conference with me when we first really started hearing about it and the book came out. And they actually read the book before I didn't say before I did, but with me. And we were constantly, where's my book? Where's my book? And one of my girls would have it. And so they started enjoying and making all the little treats and different things. But they also, and then my son, as he got older, they'd be like, I don't know about this. And they would, some things they'd be like, and other things they wouldn't even know it was Trim Healthy Mama. And I would say now my family has grown to appreciate it a lot. I have 3 boys still at home and a girl. And even my 15-year-old twin boys will enjoy Trim Healthy Mama. Like if I make a treat, they get excited because it's a treat. They know I'm not gonna say, you can only have one, or, well, I still kind of do say, can't eat all that because I want it, because they would eat it all. But they've grown to appreciate it and enjoy it as well. The biggest breakthrough for me was that aha moment when I was eating low carb, trying to maintain my weight loss, but feeling so ran down. But then also learning about, you need your whole grains, you need all your healthy carbs, you need all these fantastic foods that are natural and wonderful, and not knowing how to piece it together. And then just learning that piece of how to balance that and separating the food groups, eating the fats, but then eating the healthy carbs on a different meal. That was the biggest breakthrough aha moment. And I'm like, if I can put this into practice and if it works, I think I'm gonna feel so much better. And guess what? I did. Yeah. I did. So that was the biggest breakthrough moment. I think the other kind of fun moment for me was when I realized that I could have cheesecake for breakfast if I wanted to. I didn't have to deprive myself of a lot of the things that I was depriving myself of, that I can enjoy them in a healthy way. So that was a lot of fun as well. I felt I was deceived in many ways with the path that I was going down before with the low carb dieting and exercise. I felt like I wasn't given the whole truth. I only had a little snippet of some things, and although I was also grateful for it because it was the beginning of my journey. It took me down the road to find Trim Healthy and to begin truly healthy eating and truly healthy living. So that was, I'm very grateful for the whole journey, but I'm incredibly grateful for Trim Healthy to bring me to that spot where I can put all the pieces together. I've come to appreciate how uncomplicated this needs to be. It is truly a lifestyle. If I eat something that I prefer not to put in my body, I know it's just a matter of 3 hours and I can start all over. It's not a guilt thing. It's not a diet. It's truly a way of life. And I see the foods that I eat now as so life-giving. And they give you life. They're not meant to steal from your life. They're not meant to steal your joy or deprive you of things, but they actually are life-giving. I have been able to bring so many people into the Trim Healthy world. There have been countless friends and other women in my life that have asked me about Trim Healthy, have gotten on board and excited, and even before we moved here in Tennessee, we had a group of ladies that would get together and we would do a Trim Healthy Christmas cookie baking every year, Trim Healthy treats, with our children, and it was just a lot of fun to get to help a lot of different people. I have a friend lives out of state that I've been able to bring along the Trim Healthy Mama journey, and her husband is diabetic and has been able to significantly help him. Several friends actually that have spouses with diabetes that have come along and Even one year when our older daughter was still at home, she was even hired at Christmas time to bake for a friend of ours' husband who had diabetes, because so much he was limited to and couldn't have, and she knew some things that I could make that he could have. So it's been a fun journey for our entire family.